Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome everyone to our first ever Excellence and Impact podcast. And our first guest is none other than the one and the only talented, ambitious young African leader, the future here, Mr. Basiru Jay from the great country of the Gambia. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Welcome.
How are you doing? I'm doing great. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you here today. And I want to start this podcast by acknowledging our friends at the Competency Development Labs who are responsible for the tech and for helping the Excellence and Impact Foundation. So with that said, let's dive in, friend. Let's talk about what we're doing here at the Excellence and Impact Foundation. So our goals here, we focus on the areas of healthcare, education, entrepreneurship, and leadership. And we facilitate high impact, high value relationships with change makers in the US, and we build on an ecosystem of knowledge sharing with our African continent. And that's how you come in here, sir, because you are an amazing and emerging leader in Africa and beyond. Let me give our audience some background. So we met at the Mandela Fellowship event here, and you are, of course, a distinguished Mandela Fellow. And we met at the event, and we were eventually paired by Arizona State University so I could coach you and give you some guidance on the project here. And we have since developed such a great working relationship, which I think is going to go for a very, very long time. I see you as one of those people who the world has to be watching for, and you have so much to offer. And the Excellence and Impact Foundation here, we look for people like you and we try to amplify your impact. How do you feel about somebody saying that you are an excellent professional or an excellent leader and you have this massive impact? How does that make you feel, sir?
Thank you so much. My name is Basiru Jay. I'm from the Gambia. I'm a Mandela Washington Fellow 2024. Right now, I am an alumni because we just graduated yesterday at Arizona State University. Going back to the question, if anyone calls me, I will say a good leader because excellence only belongs to our supernatural beings, and then I'm not one of them. I'm just a human. I'm just striving hard, and I will still strive hard. But it's something like that I will see is it's a phrase of motivation for you to do better, because whosoever is out there, you cannot see yourself. But if people are giving you that compliment, it means that you are doing extremely well. So it requires for you to add that momentum, or like you keep that momentum and then you adjust. To me, in a short note, if or whosoever tells me that, I feel like it's a sense of the passing, tapping my back. You have to add more weight on your shoulder.
Good. It sounds to me like you are the kind of leader who is going to be having a lot of impact with the people leading, because good leaders are always very modest. Here you are. I am telling you that you have this bright future, you have this excellent qualities, and you are saying you don't see yourself that way. So that's good. Modesty is a good thing. That's exactly why I feel like you are going places in your life, and that's good. So if you don't mind sharing with our audience, Mr. Basiru, when did you find out about these leadership qualities that you have, and when did you know that you were destined to be? When did you find that out?
Growing up, I was a student leader. I started my leadership journey class 7 when I was the class prefect of my class. So it came naturally. I don't know what people say in me, but that's where my leadership, I will say, started manifesting. Through that, I went to an extent in my grade 9. In here, you call it class 9. That's where I lead the entire school. I was the head boy of my school, addressing students' issues and concern, being the mediator between the school administration and also the students. So that's where I started knowing, yeah. So going back there, I went to high school as well. I was given a little series of leadership position, representing my school in competitions and as well. But before that, I was deeply rooted in civil society organization, which I serve in my community where I live and make sure that it started where I was born, that is Banjul City. That's where I started my community work and then joining the civil society organization in helping our community advocating for the rights of the youth. And this has helped me to love the work I'm doing, that is to be a student, like a youth leader, I would say, who is out there trying to make difference for the lives of the young people out there, not only in the Gambia, but also across Africa. In my university as well, I was assuming certain simple leadership roles, but then things started blowing up when I joined the National Youth Council, where I currently work. So actually, my mom was a politician. I know that side also added some weight, but then let me just focus on myself. Basically, coming back to that, when I joined the National Youth Council, so at first I was like, where am I getting there? Because I've seen I am the youngest employee in our office. So you have the age gap, 10 years of difference. So you were like, oh, I am in a completely different environment. So I have to study the environment. So I came in an instance where our office was having, how do I call it? I will call it a problem. I don't want to use the word, but then I came in the middle of that. So I was confused at some point because I don't know where that problem is coming from. I just find myself in the midst of a situation, but I think that was I was destined to be. So through that, I am someone who is so observant and I love my instincts. So I don't try to be people trying to pull me on either side. So I was just at the center, trying to study the situation. So I'm someone as well that I'm loyal to the institution. I'm not loyal to anybody. I'm not loyal to any individual. So as long there is development and for the betterment of the youth, I sign up for that. So I started the first task I was given, I can remember, was Basiru Jay or trying to make a new face to the institution. So it was a big thing for me. I was like, where do I start? It seems like my boss is expecting a lot from me. So through that, I went home, started thinking, brainstorming, and there were some projects out there which were not implemented for so long. So the first thing I did is to establish a youth up wherein right now is a safe space which bring young people, children to co-create, give practical solutions. Yeah, so then the institution started changing to a new dimension. People started to know the National Youth Council trying to bring all our services at the doorstep of every young people. And one thing I love, when I came out, I will not say I brought the young people of the Gambia together, but I immensely contributed to it because I've seen like everyone was working at your own corner. I'm someone who loves team building, partnerships. So that's my strength. I love bringing everyone on board to make a huge impact than doing it alone. Through that, I was given a task again when I established the Youth Creative Lab. So I was given a task which was forming the focal point of the Youth Connect Gambia. That also was a challenge because initially people didn't know the whole idea Youth Connect. Since it was launched in 2019, there was nothing until 2022. So I was given the task in 2022. It was like a sleeping lion that has just woke up. But it required a lot of work, which I also passionately committed to it. One thing that I did was there's something out there. What different thing I will do to make sure that it will change the narrative? So what I did was to form a committee, study the environment because I was new. So I brought the civil society, the youth organization, inviting them over. So we have a meeting, we form a task force, a committee towards our first Gambia summit, which paved the way. It was like a very successful summit where young entrepreneurs were able to showcase their talents, pitching about themselves, ministers coming, high level dignitaries coming together. There were a lot of thematic sessions. So through that, and then people started to say, okay, this boy has something in him. We were able to give a lot of opportunities for the young people of the Gambia through the platform. And then through that, I led the young people of the Gambia to the Youth Connect Africa Summit, which was held in Rwanda, Kigali. So, which I was also lucky to have some of the young entrepreneurs to have a deal room, international investors out there. They were able to pitch their ideas and also have a deal room with them. So, from there, coming to now, yeah, it has been a long journey of
That's good.
ups and downs.
And I can tell you, you're just getting started because you are very, very young. And I
Yes.
can tell that. So you have been a leader ever since like seventh grade, and so you have been building these leadership skills of collaborating, understanding how personalities work, understanding how to get different people to work together towards a common goal. And what I hear from you is so loyal to institutions. That is
Yes.
something that most people have a hard time with. So most leaders want to make themselves on the face of the institution, and they want to do what makes them shine. But what I'm hearing from you is you have no loyalty to anybody. You honor the constitution of the Gambia, the institutions, you're loyal to the people, and all your service and all your work is to make Gambia a better place. That's amazing.
But this ideology started back in the middle school because I was a very, I'll not call it excellent, but I was an A student.
Say it. Why
Yeah.
not? Hey,
So
I already told you the reason you're here is because this is the Excellence and Impact podcast. So if you are
yeah,
excelling, we come here so we can talk. So you are excellent. Accept it.
so I was an A student where whatever I learned, I love to share it with my fellow students. So I was a student at the same time, a teacher to my fellow students because I was a little bit ahead of them. So whatever I learned, like it went to an extent that other schools from other cities you usually come to our study classes.
Okay.
So it went to an extent like my school principal, like the head of the school, will be like, Basil, it's enough now. You have studied a lot. You have shared a lot. Now it's enough. I've been known someone collaborate and then share. I think no one has even granted me for me to be named and recognized as SDG champion of the United Nations Country Office.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you. So I was celebrated and I received lots of awards. In 2020, I was named as the most influential youth in Africa.
The most influential youth in Africa in 2020?
Yes.
By
So
who?
but the network of Pan African. From 2020 as well, I was invited in UAE, where I also honored by the king. I don't want to focus more on my accolades, but then these are some of the things that really stand out, which I always reflect on. Because I love in that gathering as well, we have over 94 countries, including Taiwan, other countries. So where young people usually come and also share their ideas, we go through a leadership training as well. So one thing that stood out also my leadership qualities manifested. Because when different people come together, you have the Arabs, you have
This meeting is being recorded.
life you are living today has been widely determined by the quality of choices and decisions you have made in the past. So
Very
if you
true.
are born a leader and you don't practice on those, or like you have not gone under any capacity building or continuous learning, I don't think you will realize that particular leader. Because in the book on Prime Teresi, which is called the Flight Plan, he said the right job for you is something that is easy to learn and easy to do. It comes naturally to you as if it was difficult for most others. But for instance, I will give an example. If anyone comes to you and then say, wow, you are a good mathematician, you are good at maths, right? So someone else will be like, you are crazy. Maths is very difficult. But because maths is not for you, but it is for him. So
Yes.
that was the right attribute for that particular person. I will say, coming back to the question, yeah, some part my family has played a part a little bit, but I will concentrate on myself because I came from a long way. And growing up from the middle school, started attending extracurricular activities, and my parents as well were supporting me in that. So I've been someone who loves taking risks and trying to take up new initiatives because I don't like where everyone is going and I go there. No, I try
Oh,
to find new means and the new experience for myself. Even it will be very funny to say if your family is going from this way, you go to that way, right? Because you want to try to explore new opportunities and new avenues. I love critical thinking, analysis, and coming up with strategies that are efficient and effective. And I always look at the long term impact, not the short term, because I'm so futuristic to an
okay.
extent that I take my time in answering questions. What if? So that's why I easily get surprised over things because I am so contented that to an extent that if I do my best, I will know yes, I've done my best. So now the decision depends on Allah. If I don't have it, I don't feel sad because I will know I've given my all. And that's a good trait of being resilient as a leader, knowing that you have done your best. There are things that you don't have control over. There are things that
Absolutely.
you have control over. So the things that you have control over, grab them and make good use of it. But or as a leader, leadership is something that you are taking to make a change. And I believe that the reason why people call me a servant leader, because I have in the mindset that the sense of purpose is much more important than the sense of identity. If I be the president of the Republic of the Gambia and I'm not doing anything, it has no use. If I'm the manager of a school, I'm the manager of the school, I'm the boss of this thing, but you're not serving your purpose of why you are assuming that role, then it becomes useless. That's why it is said, if you are leading because of yourself, you are self-centered. But if you are leading because of two or three people, you are creating a family. But if you lead for the entire people, that's what we call a good leader. And leadership, I think, is a win-win situation. And I will call it in this way. For instance, at times people misunderstand two things. Regardless of whatsoever or whosoever you become in life, always have someone who will tell you, hey, this is the right way. No, it's not good. I think it's this one. That's your coach or your mentor. But your role model is someone that you look up to. I love Alpha. Alpha is like this. Alpha is like that. I love his personality. So that's not your mentor or your coach. That's the person you admire. But even professional footballers, they have their coaches. They are stars, but they are coaches who tell them, okay, no, I think you should do it this way. No, do it that way. Because you cannot see yourself. People tell you, and no one,
True.
we are all human, we make mistakes. And coming back to the example I was giving, if you are in a room and it has so many doors, you have the front door, side doors, back doors, and you are at the center. Everyone, like we sit randomly, I will call it. but someone is sitting at the front door who is closer. Okay, someone at the side door, someone at the back door. If an enemy is approaching towards either of the door, person becomes the leader at that instant. Because saying that person who is there, let's say in the front door, that person is the one seeing that enemy. That person has to tell you, okay, the enemy is approaching in this way. So allow that person to lead. If the enemy is approaching from the back, that person is the leader. So you should understand as where you can and where you cannot. We set reference on your strength and your weaknesses. So that will help. I have an attitude that there are things that I will automatically compute in my head. This is my domain. This is my domain. If it is not my domain, I become submissive and rely on the person or on others. If this is my domain, I will make sure that I will do it my best to make sure that others also who are relying on me will be happy.
What I'm hearing is you are very good at being self-aware of your strengths and your weaknesses. And as a leader, I think one of the most important things is to be able to delegate and empower your people. So that's what I'm hearing from you. And so the style is, if I'm not good at something, then the thing you want to do is to find somebody who is experienced at that aspect of, be it project management, facilitation, training, research. You find somebody, you delegate to them, and you learn from them. Because learning it goes both ways, right? If you're not teaching, you're learning. You can't be doing both at the same time. That's very, very interesting. And let me talk about something you just mentioned in your last response. You talked about being a futuristic leader who thinks long term. So Bill Gates has this quote where he said, many people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. So it looks to me like you are a long-term forward-thinking kind of guy, which is awesome because you are very young and the sky is the limit. So when will you be in 10 years from now? What impact do you want to create? So can you give us a 10-year snapshot of Basiru Jay? Will you be the minister of something, the president of something? I don't know. You tell us.
All right, where I see myself in the 10 years to come, I always say we have a continent to develop. We have a country to develop where every young person can strive successfully. And everyone has a role to play, no exception. So my vision is to see my country moving from one side of the coin to the other side of the coin. It requires a lot of effort. It requires collective effort as well. It requires like-minded individuals coming together to a nation. I don't know where God will destined me to be, but I want to be at the highest level of leadership where I can influence change. Basically, I love to serve my country and I love to serve Africa.
That's pretty obvious.
Yes, I think like African. I think like I work like African. And I am so passionate to see the continent move from one side to the other, and passionately, especially the young people of Africa. With the project, I always look this to build the capacity of young Africans because skill is something that can move the continent and especially my country as well. So I aspire to be the minister. I don't know where it would be. So the highest level, that's something else. But one day I would love to be the minister of the youth in my country where tremendously make change. And even if I'm not the minister as well, but I will make sure that I definitely as well the young people in my country and Africa. So I love also to work at the African Union, where I use my abilities, all my potential to see Africa is in the trajectory of where every young African or every African wanting Africa to. So, in a nutshell, my 10 years vision is to make change to the lives of the young people. And through the means of continuous learning, starting from myself to adequately build, enhance my capacity so that our fellowship in LDAP, like the leadership curriculum, which our instructor lecture in, he was able to give us also to find your domain strength, which is called the Clifton Strength Finance. And what has stood out for me is I am a learner, I am an achiever, I am an arranger, individualization, and responsibility. So in a nutshell, I have all my strength in being an executor.
Okay.
Yeah. It means like people who do like leaders who make things happen
Yes.
to make sure that everything goes the right way, everything works. Many people see me to jump into the political arena and also to be youth public leadership. But I believe that it is time for every young person to come to the decision-making table because if we don't rise up to public leadership, the young people will be left behind. So I believe that every young person who is out there doing extremely well, regardless of where you are, rise up to leadership position. Because if we don't, as young Africans, who else will be in that
Yeah.
position? Exactly. We are the one who should change the narrative. We are doing extremely well across the continent, but with collaborative effort, join hands together, co-create, partner, to help one another, we can change the continent.
That's good. Speaking of, your ambition to elevate, the sense and the trajectory of African youth and to advance their capacity building and reliance and general life skills to meet with the challenges and the needs of the 21st century, AI and everything coming along. Here at the Efforts and Impact Foundation, what we do is we focus on our 4 core areas of healthcare, education, leadership, and entrepreneurship, right? And you came here for your fellowship, and somehow we have started a partnership which aligns with our goals and your ambitions as a leader to elevate your pride. So we are working to roll out this fantastic initiative, the $100 million program in the Gambia. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that is one of the attributes that you have, which is you identify projects, you create partnerships, you help innovate your country and the African continent as a whole.
Thank you so much for the opportunity that you recommend to us. It will be unfolded very soon. So we are in the process of doing the nitty-gritties on the ground.
Yes.
We thank you, Alpha, for the facilitation or the partnership between Thunderbird School of Global Management and Gambia government. We really appreciate your forthcoming and I will call it futuristic mindset and also connecting young leaders and young people across Africa to opportunity, and we are grateful for that. There's something that will really not only equip the young Gambians, but as well it will go a long way in changing the intellectual landscape. Having a skill is something that is indispensable in this current world.
True.
Technology is advancing, the world is evolving. You can do so many things. Not having a skill is not an excuse. It's not only about just the conventional knowledge, but having the required skills for us, the young Africans, to move the continent to the where we are hoping to see our continent. So, in a nutshell, I want to extend my heartfelt appreciation to you for connecting me or the Gambia to the 100 Land Initiative, which the Thunderbird Global Management is offering. So in a nutshell,
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That is one of the things that we at Excellence and Impact Foundation we are very keen on is getting the youth involved, because the youth are the future of tomorrow, right? So that's just something that we are very passionate about. We're just getting started here. The sky is the limit. And just so you know, when you're rolling it out in the Gambia, I told you we will be there, right? The Excellence Impact Foundation is going to be present for the rollout and the launch in Gambia. So I'll see you in Gambia in a few months. That's for sure. So keep working at it. And
thank you. We all hope to see you.
Yes.
At Excellent Impact Foundation.
Yes, sir.
And then coming with the dean of the Thunderbird as well, and the management, the Thunderbird School of Global Management here at the Arizona State University. So thank you so much. I'm hoping to see you as well.
One last thing before we go. So where can people find Basiru Jay? How can we find you for the audience on social media?
I am on almost all social media platform, I will call it. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, which is now currently called X. I am even TikTok, yeah.
Well, again, I want to thank the one and only charismatic, very, very talented Mr. Basiru Jay from the great nation of the Gambia for being our first inaugural podcast guest. And I want to also thank our partners at CDC, the Competency Development Labs, for presenting this podcast edition for us. And again, if you're looking for any executive level marketing, branding, web services, please do check out CDC, Competency Development Labs. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you for our next podcast. Bye.
Thank you.